Legal Talk, brought to you by WTVY and the Cochran Firm.
Good morning and welcome to Legal Talk. I'm Andrew Findlay and I'm talking to Cochran Firm attorney Jessica Givens about the death penalty. Jessica, what role does a jury play in death penalty cases?
Well, I think that most people are aware that capital punishment is something that we have in Alabama. And if you're selected to be a juror in a case, you would go through the guilt phase. You determine whether or not someone was guilty or not. But after that, there's a sentencing phase. And a jury would also be able to recommend whether or not they thought someone should be put to death or sent to prison for life. But in Alabama, it's just a recommendation. So a jury, 12 jurors could say this person should go to prison for life without the possibility of parole. But a judge unilaterally can say, I disagree, and sentence someone to death. Our scheme is somewhat dissimilar from Florida's capital punishment scheme, which is one of only 4 states who allowed this jury override by a judge. But in January of this year, the United States Supreme Court held that their scheme was unconstitutional. So they held that under the 6th Amendment, it is a jury's verdict, not a judge's fact finding, that should determine whether or not someone should be sentenced to death. Now, although, since there are some dissimilarities, we're not sure how this is going to affect Alabama's death penalty scheme or whether it's constitutional or not. It's something that we need to look out for. So, I guess you could say the jury's still out on whether or not this capital punishment scheme will stay in place.
Thanks, Jessica. If you have a legal question, be sure to call the Cochran Firm at 673-1555.
Legal Talk, brought to you by WTVY and the Cochran Firm.